Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Sri Chaitanya Charitamrit ki jai. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Samaveta Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Om Ajnana-timirandhasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, I welcome you to today's Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita session. Today is March 12th for us, 2026. And we are reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, chapter 9. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's travels to the holy places. And now, right now, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is in Sri Rangam. And he is in the house of Venkat Bhatta. So Mahaprabhu is spending the 4 months of Chaturmasya in the house of Venkata Bhatta, who is a Sri Vaishnava and a great devotee of Sri Lakshmi Narayan. And Mahaprabhu shared a relationship of Sakhya Bhava, Sakhya Rasa with Venkata Bhatta. So it is the nature of Sakhya Rasa that the members in that rasa, they joke and laugh with each other, challenge each other. So we saw Mahaprabhu challenged Venkat Bhatta about why is it that Lakshmi ji, who is the most chaste wife of Lord Narayan, who resides on the chest of Lord Narayan, who is the wife of Lord Narayan, and she's the crest jewel amongst all chaste ladies. And my master is Lord Kṛṣṇa, who is a cowherd boy who herds cows. Why is she desiring to associate with Kṛṣṇa? And then Mahaprabhu showed by substantiating from Shastra, from Srimad Bhagavatam, that indeed Lakshmi ji actually performed tapasya for centuries to get the dust of the lotus feet of Kṛṣṇa, to get the association of Kṛṣṇa. Lord Brahma is praying to Kṛṣṇa, so there he says, Lakshmi ji performed tapasya for centuries. So why is your Lakshmi ji wanting to associate with Kṛṣṇa? So then Venkat Bhatta said that actually there is no difference in the form of Kṛṣṇa and Lord Narayan. Both are of the same Swarupa. It's the same person. But Krishna's Leela is more playful and hence more relishable. Because both are the same person, there is no damage to Lakshmi Devi's chastity. Even if she is touched by Kṛṣṇa, her chastity is not lost because Kṛṣṇa and Narayan are the same person. However, because she is Vinodini, right? She's the Lord's internal potency, and she wants to enjoy. So if she associated with Kṛṣṇa, she gets the additional benefit of enjoying the Ras Leela without hampering, without affecting her chastity in any way. So what is the fault if Lakshmi Devi wanted to associate with Kṛṣṇa in the Ras Leela? What's the problem? Like this, Venkat Bhatta defended. Then Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu said, of course, I admit that there is no fault in Lakshmi Devi's desiring to associate with Kṛṣṇa, but I have heard from Shastra that Lakshmi Devi was not allowed in the Ras Leela. Even though she performed tapasya, she was not given entrance into Ras Leela. And then again Caitanya Mahaprabhu quoted in the prayers of the wives of Kaliya, they say that we are surprised how, being a serpent, Kaliya got this mercy. Kaliya got the dust of your lotus feet, which Acha. I think that one is the, one second, let me check. Okay, so that is actually, that one example is to show that Lakshmi Devi actually performed tapasya for many, many centuries, austerities. For that, this quote was given. The wives of Kaliya are saying that for many, many years, Lakshmi Devi performed tapasya. So, this is the analogy. For many years, Lakshmi Devi performed tapasya. That is said by the wives of Kaliya to Kṛṣṇa. Yet she didn't get the mercy, but Kaliya got. Okay. But now the next point is that Lakshmi ji is not allowed. So for that, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu gave the example that actually when both of them, see, this is the style of you can say debate or discussion, both have to present their points based on Shastra. So Venkat Bhatta, when he said there is no fault on Lakshmi Devi's wanting to associate with Kṛṣṇa, he also quoted a verse from Shastra, which said that actually from transcendental realization's perspective, there is no difference between Kṛṣṇa and Narayan. Still, Kṛṣṇa's pastimes are superior, they are more relishable because of conjugal mellow. So he proved that point. So then Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, but I heard that Lakshmi Devi didn't get entrance into Ras Leela. So then for that, Brahmaji's prayer is quoted from Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto. Let me check once. 47th chapter, 10:47-60 is the quote. So there it is said that Kṛṣṇa embraced the gopīs during the Ras Leela. This mercy was not bestowed, this favor was not showed even to Lakshmi Devi. She never got that mercy. So the point is Lakshmi Devi never got entrance into Ras Leela. That's the point being made by Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. There's no fault in her desiring, but why she was not allowed? Why she was not allowed to participate in the Ras Leela? Then further Mahaprabhu said that she performed austerities, still she didn't get to participate in Ras Leela. But the Vedas, personified Vedas, this is what we discussed yesterday. Personified Vedas, they performed tapasya, they got to participate in the Ras Leela. They performed tapasya, they took birth as gopīs in Vraja, and being trained under Nitya Siddha gopīs, they actually got to participate in the Ras Leela. Why Lakshmi ji didn't get to participate is the question. Lakshmi kene pai na pailo ihara ki karan. What is the cause that Lakshmi ji didn't get entrance into Ras Leela? She wanted it. She performed tapasya for many centuries. But why she didn't get it? Tapakori koiche Krishna pailo Shruti Gana. The Shrutis, the Vedas got this opportunity. They became, gopīs. But why Lakshmi ji didn't get? So this is the next challenge of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Let us see. Once again, to prove that Lakshmi ji or the Vedas actually got association, to prove that the Vedas got entrance into Ras Leela, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu is showing a quote from Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th Canto, 87th chapter, text 23. Remember yesterday I was explaining to you about Veda Stuti. Veda Stuti is the title of this chapter, 1087. The Vedas are glorifying the Supreme Lord. So I told you when the Vedas glorify. So in that, the Vedas glorification of the Supreme Lord, one of the verses says, this is that verse, which says that, I don't know what the meter is. I think it's Janmadhyasya meter. nibhṛta-marun-mano kṣa-dṛḍha-yoga-yujo Janmadhyasya yato nayaditaratas chartheshvabhigyasvarat nibhṛta-marun-mano kṣa-dṛḍha-yoga-yujo hṛdi munaya upāsate tad arayo yayuḥ smaraṇāt striya uragendra bhoga bhuja danda vishakta-dhiyo vayam apite samādṛśo ṅghri-saroja-sudhāḥ. That's not the meter, I think, but something. Great sages conquer the mind and senses by practicing the mystic yoga system and controlling the breath. Great sages conquer the mind and senses by practicing the mystic yoga system and controlling the breath. So this is Ashtanga yoga system. Ashtanga yoga system has 8 limbs: yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, then dharana, dhyana, samadhi. These are the different limbs of Ashtanga yoga. That means the system includes yama, niyama. That means, rules and regulations. What you should not do and what you should do. Then asana, how you should sit. Then pranayama, controlling your breath. That's a very important science. When is the breath controlled? When your food is controlled, your breath is controlled. There's a link between the food we eat and the prana, the airs that are moving inside the body, prana vayu. Prana, food, and then this prana is directly linked to our senses, how the senses function. So senses includes mind also. We have 10 senses, 5 knowledge acquiring senses, 5 working senses, and mind, all our senses. So there is a close link between prana and the function of the senses. And also there is a link between the food we eat and prana. If you don't eat properly, then prana will become weak. The airs are not moving properly. That means they become like, there's no strength. So they're very, very mildly, the air is moving. And as a consequence of the prana moving very mildly, the senses are also not as efficient. Your eyes are not able to see properly. Ears are not able to hear properly. And similarly, the mind also. The mind which is active, so the senses are not very active. When the prana becomes weak, then the senses are not very active. Normally, if the mind is very active, it is thinking of so many things and planning of this and that. Even the senses are also very active. the tongue wants to taste, and, you want to eat, you have appetite, and then, your hands, your eyes, everything is very active. It's very sharp. And the mind is also very active. So many things it's thinking about. But for you to do yoga, you have to control. So in Ashtanga Yoga, first of all, your food is controlled. Yama and Niyama. You see, when we see Dhruva Maharaj, when he went to the forest to perform Ashtanga Yoga, you know what is the diet he followed? The first month he was simply eating fruits, and that too not whenever you want. That was also restricted, once every 3 days, like that. And then after that, after practicing that for 1 month, then he reduced even further, eating only dry leaves, no fruits also, dry leaves fallen from the tree. And that is also once in 6 days, I think. That's all. And the rest of the time he was meditating. And then he makes it even more severe. After that, drinking only water. Once in every, I think, 9 days ki 12 days. I'm not sure. Now I forget the details. Then after water, the next level was, he even stopped breathing. Prana. Once in every 12 days, I think. He would just breathe once. That's it. And then he would continue his meditation. By that, in a very short time, in less than 6 months' time, the whole universe was affected by his tapasya, because by his meditation, he had captured the Lord in his heart. And then he's putting his body through so much, austerity, tapasya, penance, that when the Lord inside, he is also like, everything is closed, right? So, and the Lord is the super soul of the whole universe. So when the Lord is kept like this, completely locked up, the whole universe was getting perturbed. It was getting affected. Then the demigods went and prayed like that. Actually, not that. That happened with Hiranyakashipu. When he locked up all his, he was also performing very severe tapasya, and there was heat coming out from his body. And that heat, the whole universe was getting hot. In case of Dhruva Maharaj, what happened was, because he was holding the Lord in his heart, the Lord of the universe, because of his tapasya, he was holding the Lord in his heart. He became so heavy. Dhruva Maharaj became so heavy. With his toe, right? The universe was, I forget the detail now. I think the universe goes down or something. But the point is, such is the power of Ashtanga Yoga, right? One who is meditating on Paramatma, on the Supreme Lord. So Ashtanga Yoga is a tool. You can meditate on Paramatma, you can meditate on the Supreme Lord. But here in Ashtanga Yoga, the limbs are practicing this yama, niyama, controlling. So I was telling you the control between food, your prana, and the mind. For Ashtanga Yoga, what is most important? Controlling the mind is most important, because with that controlled mind, you have to focus on your object, the Lord. You have to focus. Smaranam, right? That is the main anga in Ashtanga Yoga. Dhyana, meditating. So the same dhyana in bhakti, it is called smaranam. In Ashtanga Yoga, it is called dhyana, dharana, dhyana. What do you meditate with? With your mind. So the mind has to be stable, has to be controlled. So to do that, food is controlled, then the prana, air is controlled, breath restraint is done. That's why pranayama is done. And with that, the mind is controlled. And such controlled mind is now focused on the Lord. This is Ashtanga Yoga process. So what are we reading in this verse? Great sages conquer the mind and senses by practicing the mystic yoga system and controlling the breath. So that's the point. Thus, engaging in mystic yoga, they see the super soul within their hearts, yes, and ultimately enter into impersonal Brahman. One more point I want to tell you here. When you do Ashtanga Yoga, it is not essential that every time the person is aspiring to merge into Brahman. And at the same time, it is not essential that everyone who is doing Ashtanga Yoga is aspiring for Bhagwan. Ashtanga Yoga is a method which can be used either by the Jnanis or by the Bhaktas. When the Jnanis use Ashtanga Yoga process, that means Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, this process, and Dhyana, their goal is to go and merge into Brahman. So what they do is, at a certain stage, because Ashtanga Yoga means you have to meditate on the object, so they meditate on Paramatma. But when they see Paramatma, they pull the mind away from Paramatma because they don't want that destination. They focus now, after they use Paramatma to get focus. For the mind to focus on something, you need a target. You need an object. So they focus on Paramatma. But once the mind is fixed on the object, now they turn the mind away because the mind is pulled away from all lower objects, sense objects. So pulling the mind away from sense objects, but it needs an object. So now they focus it on the higher object, which is Paramatma. But then after they get that focus in Ashtanga Yoga system, you want Samadhi, right? Then they pull the mind away from Paramatma and then they just focus on hṛdi-akāsha. Hṛdi-akāsha means the space, empty space in the heart. In that also there's different types of yoga, meaning, you know, in one case, they just pull the mind away from Paramatma. And just now the mind, it's very difficult though, because it's natural for the living entity to be attracted by the beauty of the Lord. But by force, they pull the mind away. And now they focus on empty space in the heart. But now the mind has no object to meditate on, right? So mind has no function. It cannot meditate on the lower objects, sense objects, because it's already done with it. Once you get a higher taste, you won't go for lower taste again. The mind will not go back to the lower objects. And higher objects, forcibly, the yogi pulled back the mind from Paramatma. It has nothing to meditate on, so the mind becomes dissolved. In this way, the body, Linga Deha, the subtle body of this yogi, is dissolved. And then he gets one type of liberation where, you know, that's a destination. He didn't really realize Brahman here, but he just got liberated from the material world, from the material body. That's one type of liberation that they get in Ashtanga Yoga system. This is explained in Srimad Bhagavatam 2nd Canto. Yes, Mataji.
So, Mataji, what did they achieve by this? It's like they got to the destination that was like being desired to achieve Paramatma, and now they want to pull their mind away from it. So, what are they trying to do?
So they want to transcend the material modes, but because they are Jnanis, that means they want to, basically they want to transcend the material world. But when they got, that's why they're called Nikrishta Yogi. Ekdam neophyte yogi hai, Nikrishta, matlab ekdam low class hai, sabse niche hai. Because even after getting attraction for Paramatma, they're actually seeing Paramatma in the heart. And it is explained there, by seeing the beauty of the Lord, he's getting tears and, you know, he's experiencing the symptoms of ecstasy. Right. And then he's thinking, because he's a Jnani's training is that, you know, nothing, you know, you have to be detached from all types of pleasure and pain. You must be detached from all types of pleasure and pain. That is what he practiced. In Nishkama Karma Yoga, that's what he was practicing.
Yeah, but so, when Jnanis do it, then their ultimate aim is Brahman. So at least they are merging there. But what they achieve, Mataji, then?
There are different types, Mataji, different varieties. That is why the beauty is that there is room for every type of desire, every type of, you know, someone who desires this destination, there's room for that also. So in this case, what he is achieving is he just remains there as Atma. That's all. So there is there is a space for them also, Because you see, there is material world and there is spiritual world. And in between we have the Viraja river. So in one of the purports in Caitanya Charitamrita, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur explains that there is also an area where they just go and stay there as Atma. Not that they are going and merging into Brahman, not that they are going into Vaikuntha planet or to associate with the Lord, not that they are getting just mukti, like staying in Vaikuntha, Salokya, Samipya. No, they just go. It is like in the Viraja river or on the other side of Viraja river, something around that place. They just go and they just stay there. This episode comes in the talks with Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. In that area, it will come. So there is one location where the Atma is liberated from material existence, and it just remains there as Atma. Not that you are going and merging into Brahman. That's not happening, because they didn't here in this Nikrishta yogi's case. He got the absolute truth as Paramatma. He pulled his mind back. So what happened? And it doesn't happen easily. He's actually an offender there, you know. He's an offender because after seeing the Lord, he just pulled his mind back. By force, he's pulling his mind back from the Lord. And then, so that is why, you cannot actually get, when you offend the absolute truth, that's the problem with Mayavadis. They also don't get that liberation of Brahma Sayujyam because of offense to the Supreme Lord. So here also this yogi is pulling his mind back from Paramatma. So he is not really going and merging into Brahman. However, what happened to him was, because he pulled his mind back, now the mind has no object. So because it has nothing else to do, no object, so it just dissolves. So his gross subtle bodies are dissolved now. He just remains as Atma. So what has he achieved? He has just transcended the material sufferings, no birth again. And he's just there in that area as Atma. That's one type of destination that they get. That is why he's called Nikrishta, low class. Ekdam low class yogi bolte hain.
Yes. Thank you, Mata.
Sure. So, but there are other types of destinations for Ashtanga yogis who are in Jnana Marga. This also we see, Sadhya Mukti, Krama Mukti is said. What they do is, there are chakras, different chakras in the body. So by practicing Ashtanga Yoga, after getting Samadhi, one lifts, because now when the goal is Brahman, merging into Brahman, how the yogi merges his soul into Brahman. This is possible in two ways. One is called Sadhya Mukti. Sadhya Mukti means immediately, instantly. Sadhyaha means right away. And Krama Mukti means krama, gradually. So in Sadhya Mukti, what happens is, in both Muktis, actually he raises, you see, a yogi gives up his body by his desire. On his own, he's giving up. So he prepares. He lifts his life air, again pranavayu, like life air. He lifts from one chakra to next. Mooladhara chakra to, here to the heart, and here like that. Gradually he lifts, and finally he brings the life air. Brahmarandra, yes. So Sahasrara chakra, Brahmarandra is that hole, and in these Shat chakras, this chakra in the head is called Sahasrara chakra. So he brings it there, and then at an opportune moment, because in the Bhagavad Gita 8th chapter we see, if you leave your body at this time, then this is the destination. In daytime, if you leave, in Krishna Paksha, if you leave, and in the night time, in Krishna Paksha, and during Uttarayana, Dakshinayana. So if you do it in the light, then you get one destination. You don't come back. And if you leave in the dark, then you have to come back. So timing is very important when you're giving up your body. So seeing the opportune moment, then he gives up his body. How exactly he gives up? Based on that, there is two types of mukti. One type of mukti is when he finds the opportune moment, immediately he leaves. So he gives up his, because when you say pranavayu, that is still, so the spirit soul, and on the spirit soul he has subtle body, and then the pranavayu is there. So with the help of this pranavayu airs, he's lifting the soul, and the soul is now also covered by the subtle body. So he's lifting it higher and higher and higher. He brought it here. In Sadhyamukti, what he does is, he just gives up all the subtle body, pranavayu leaves it. It leaves here and the soul directly goes and merges into Brahman immediately, instantly. That's why Sadhyamukti. Right here, when he's giving up, when the soul moves out of the Brahmarandra, he's dropping, he's giving up his subtle body, prana, he's leaving, and the soul is immediately going and merging into Brahman without any, stops anywhere. He's ready now to just go into Brahman. That's one. That's called Sadhyamukti. In Ashtanga Yoga process, how one gets Sayujya Mukti, going and merging into Brahman. This is one way. The other way is, after he comes here, when he leaves the body through Brahmarandra, he leaves prana, but he keeps his subtle body. The soul keeps the subtle body, and now he is traveling, going higher and higher, because wherever he is at, now he has to pass through the universal coverings. There are 7 coverings of the universe: earth, water, fire, air, ether. Then there is, I think, false ego. And then the 7th one is Mahat. Okay. So when you say false ego, that already includes, false ego includes mind, intelligence, and false ego. And then there is Mahat. Mahat is Chitta, like that. So 7 coverings are there. So what he does is, this is not because of some attachment, but there is some curiosity. He wants to see what is there. So even before reaching the coverings of the universe, if he has any curiosity to see while he's going up, he wants to see what is this. Just like if you're coming from America to India, and on the way, let's say you stop in Abu Dhabi or you stop in London. So you break your journey there and you want to just go around and see the city. And then again get back on your flight, and eventually you come to your destination. Exactly like that. So he's already, his ticket is there to go and merge into Brahman. But on the way there, he just wants to see what is it. So he'll go to Swarga. He can just go and look around. Okay. And then he'll continue his journey. Maybe he'll go to Maharloka. Oh, it's like this. And then he'll go if he wants. And if he doesn't want, he may just skip. It all depends on what he wants. Because he has already perfected his yoga. So it's not like now he's still attached to material things. Not like that. But if he gets attached, I don't know, then he'll probably stay there for some time, for as long as he wants maybe. Attachment to nahi rahega, because he did his, curiosity hai. So jitna der wo dekhna chahe, he'll be going around and looking.
Madhya,
And then,
but the consciousness is also not there. Is it there
right,
for him to think what
exactly.
he can't remember or think what has happened after it has happened? Like, or can he?
No, he can, because abhi he still has a subtle body. He has mind, intelligence, and everything.
Okay, good.
Yeah. He kept his subtle body. So this is curiosity. Let me see what all there is. That's all. Not that I want to go and enjoy. That is not there. That is not there. He just is curious, because he's already in the stage of liberation now, but he wants to just check out before leaving. So he's seeing all this, and then he'll continue, and finally he'll come to the coverings of the universe. So now when he comes to the first covering, is earth covering. The spirit soul, covered by his subtle body, is there in the in the earth covering. So you know what you find there? Everything, all objects which are related to earth. Earth, what is the sense object? So if the gross element is earth, what is the corresponding sense object for the earth? Fragrance, smell. So you'll find all types of smells, fragrances in that covering. Rose, jasmine, pineapple, mango, whatever. All the fragrances are there. So he will go there and he will check out, like he checked out others, and he'll just see. And after he has seen everything that is there, now when he moves on to the next level, he leaves that portion of his linga deha. That means his, you see, senses are also subtle, the subtle body. I told you the other day, it's not gross body. So his nose, the sense nose, he leaves there.
There.
And now he'll go to the next level. After earth, there is water. Water is connected with taste. So then all types of tastes are there. So he'll go and check out this taste, that taste, acha ye sab hai. And after seeing everything, now before moving to the next one, he'll leave his
That
tongue.
sense.
Right, that sense. Like this, he'll move on to the next one. Earth, water, fire, air, ether. Ether is sound. All types of sounds are there. And after that, he'll leave that also. Next, when it comes to false ego, in false ego, there is mind, intelligence, and false ego. So whatever activities that the mind does, right? Happiness, distress, all those things are there. So he'll just go around, look, intelligence, and then he'll leave all those three behind. Mind, intelligence, false ego, and then he'll move on to Mahat. Mahat is Chittam. And finally there he'll leave Chittam also. So who is leaving now? Just the spirit soul after leaving everything behind. And finally moving out of the universe, he'll go and merge into Brahman. This is called Krama Mukti. And the goal is merging into Brahman, but the method adopted is Ashtanga Yoga. So with Ashtanga Yoga, either that like that Nikrishta yogi, you dissolved your subtle body, but you didn't go and merge into Brahman. You just stay there as Atma eternally. That is one. And then there is Sadhya Mukti, where instantly from this body, when you liberate, and how you leave this body is both for Sadhya and Krama Mukti, you do this Shat Chakra Yoga, lifting your life air.
Chakras.
Yes, from one chakra to another. And in Sadhya Mukti, instantly you leave your subtle body here and you just go into Brahman, merge into Brahman. And in Krama Mukti, like this, gradually he'll leave and finally he'll go and merge into Brahman. So this is for Jnana Yogi who wants to merge into Brahman, and he's using Ashtanga Yoga to merge into Brahman. But the same Ashtanga Yoga can be used to realize Paramatma. Because one who is meditating on Paramatma and, he gets attraction of the Lord and then he wants to be with Paramatma. In that also, either you can go and merge into the body of Paramatma, and I don't know, maybe you can even associate with Paramatma. I'm not sure about that. But they do, because when we talk about Karanodakashaya Vishnu, he has his associates. Karanodakashaya Vishnu also has his associates. That also we see when we read about Vedasthiti, and in when we read in the third canto also, those controlling deities, Ajanaja Devatas, they are praying to the Lord. So they are said to be the servants of the Lord. They are the servants of the Lord. So when you say servants of the Lord, that I don't know exactly how, that, it's through bhakti. Servants means bhakti only. It cannot be. Because, so generally, those who realize Paramatma, they probably go and merge into Paramatma. I'm thinking. I'm not sure about that. But that is possible through Ashtanga Yoga. You go into, and you can meditate either on kṣa-dṛḍha-yoga-yujo Vishnu in the heart, or you can meditate on Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, Paramatma for the universe, or you can meditate on Karanodakshaya Vishnu, Paramatma for the entire cosmic manifestation. Anyone is possible. And one is not qualified to meditate on any three of these, because these three are transcendental bodies. If the mind is not pure, the mind cannot meditate on transcendental body. It is contaminated. So for them, it is recommended initially you meditate on the Virata Purusha, because Virata Purusha is material body. His mind can only think of material things. So you meditate on the body of Virata Purusha. And there's a description. The lotus feet of Virata Purusha is the lower planets. His head is Brahmalok, like that. So he meditates. By that he gets purification. And after purification, now he is recommended to meditate on the transcendental body. Either you meditate on, and this is called Samishti Virat and Vyashti. Samishti means the universal Virat. That is either Karanodakshaya Vishnu, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu generally. Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, they meditate on Samishti Virat. Or you can meditate on Vyashti Virat, the, Paramatma, Vyashti Paramatma within your heart. Vyashti Paramatma, that is Kṣa-dṛḍha-yoga-yujo Vishnu. So, but this meditation is done. Dhruva Maharaj did it. He also meditated on the form of the Lord. He was meditating on Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, it is said. But he's a devotee. That means this Ashtanga Yoga, what we should understand is, it is used as a tool, either to achieve the destination of Jnana Yoga or the destination of Bhakti Yoga. Ashtanga Yoga can be used as a tool. So it is on both sides. That's why if you see the transcendental diagram, you will see it's on this side and this side.
And this side, yes. Thank you, ma'am.
So let's just read at least this one verse. So this verse is being quoted by Sri Caitanya Mahāprabhu to say that the Shruti-chara gopis, meaning the Shrutis, the Vedas, got entrance into Ras Leela to say that they performed tapasya, and by that tapasya they got entrance into Krishna's Ras Leela, to say that this verse is being quoted. So great sages conquer the mind and senses by practicing the mystic yoga system and controlling the breath. Thus, engaging in mystic yoga, they see the super soul within their hearts and ultimately enter into impersonal Brahman. But even the enemies of the Supreme Personality of Godhead attain that position simply by thinking of the Supreme Lord. So what is the important point here? For one to get this type of Sayujya Mukti, merging into Brahman, by Ashtanga Yoga, itna papad belna padta hai, right? Like you have to do so much. It's not so easy. Panthastu koti shatavatsara sampragamyo vayo rathapi manaso muni pungavanam. Means they drill their, breathing and controlling their breath, breath restraint, focusing the mind. For how long? Panthastu koti shata, hundreds of crores of years they have to practice like this. It's not so easy that now I will practice, I'll attend yoga classes and now I'm realizing Paramatma. Not like that. By Ashtanga Yoga process, that is why Ashtanga Yoga process for achieving liberation is not the method for Kali Yuga. You need lot of time to do that. Just like, when we cook some sabjis, certain sabjis are very elaborate. If you want to make such sabji, then that's not something which will finish in 10-15 minutes. If you are taking up that project, you have to take enough time. Then you'll get, that like that. Here also, if you want to get the liberation through Ashtanga Yoga, you need plenty of time for that. That is why that method is prescribed for Satya Yuga. Because in Satya Yuga, the life was very long, 100,000 years. Everyone would live for 100,000 years. So they had ample time to practice Ashtanga Yoga. It would take 1,000 koti shata vatsara. That means life after life. You're trying. If you didn't complete, like in Bhagavad Gita, we see if a yogi didn't succeed, then after giving up that body, he will continue from there again. Next life, he will take up, he'll pick it up and he'll continue. So this Ashtanga Yoga process to get liberation, right? It's not so easy. That's the point. But such liberation is very easily attained even for the enemies of the Lord. Simply by, we see Shishupal, right? He just hated Kṛṣṇa. But simply by hating Kṛṣṇa, he gets this Sayujya Mukti. What to speak of Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu, Ravana. They get this easily. They don't have to do all the exercises, pranayama, pratyahara, and all that Ashtanga yogis do. So, thus engaging in mystic yoga, they see the super soul within their hearts and ultimately enter into impersonal Brahman. But even the enemies of the Supreme Personality of Godhead attain that position simply by thinking of the Supreme Lord. However, the damsels of Vraja, the gopīs, being attracted by the beauty of Kṛṣṇa, simply wanted to embrace him and his arms, which are like serpents. Thus, the gopīs ultimately tasted the nectar of the lotus feet of the Lord. Similarly, now this is what? These are the prayers by the Vedas, na? So the Vedas are saying, similarly, we Upaniṣads can also taste the nectar of his lotus feet by following in the footsteps of the gopīs. And they did that. They actually did that. And Sri Caitanya Mahāprabhu is quoting this verse from Srimad Bhagavatam to show that the Vedas wanted to achieve and they achieved, right? The same favor which the gopīs got, where they were able to embrace the serpentine arms of Kṛṣṇa in Ras Leela. The Vedas also desired that. And how did they want to get that? By following in the footsteps of the gopīs. And they got that. That's why there is Shruti. Shruti means Vedas. Shruti-chara gopīs is one category of gopīs. So yesterday I told you there is Rishi-chara gopīs That means the rishis of Dandakaranya. Then there is Shruti-chara gopis, the Vedas. Then we have Devata gopis, the consorts of the demigods who came and became gopis. And of course, the Nitya-siddha gopis, the eternal gopis who are eternal associates of Kṛṣṇa from Goloka. They also came down. So like this, there are 4 types of gopis. So the main point is, in yesterday's verse, we saw Mahāprabhu is saying why Lakshmi ji did not get entrance into Ras Leela. The Vedas got entrance into Ras Leela by performing tapasya. Lakshmi ji performed tapasya, but she's not getting entrance. So today what we saw is, to substantiate that point, that the Vedas got entrance, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu quoted from 87th chapter of the 10th canto, Veda Stuti, where the Vedas are glorifying the Lord. And there the Vedas said that by Ashtanga Yoga, with great difficulty, one gets Brahma Sayujam, merging into Brahman. But that even the enemies of Kṛṣṇa get very easily. Simply by thinking of Kṛṣṇa, they get it. But we want the, the position that the gopis have, where they are able to participate in the Rasa Leela. And how do we get that? By following in the footsteps of the gopis, we want to get that. So Mahaprabhu is quoting this to show that the Vedas got entrance. By following in the footsteps of gopis, the Vedas got entrance. But Lakshmi ji didn't get. So what happened next, we will see tomorrow. Thank you so much. Sri Caitanya Charitamrita ki jai. Das Kaviraj Goswami ki jai. Pad ki jai.
Bhakti ki jai. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Kṛṣṇa.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.